Top of the morning.
All right. Yes, sir. Happy Friday once again, y'all. We are here with another episode of the Best of Both Worlds of Wrestling podcast. I'm Chris.
No, Khalil. And we're starting off with a bang this episode because well, I didn't see this coming. I don't know about you, but no BS. Paul Wight is back. He's getting back in the ring.
On the big show. Paul Wight. Listen, I when Jericho said last week that he had friends that were bigger than Will Hobbs, and then everyone started posting pictures of Jericho, I was like, nah, no, no, it can't be. It can't be anyone but him. Not that like I'm a fan of Paul, but it's just
Well, no, it's all love. We're just having fun. I love Paul Wight.
yeah,
I love the
yeah.
big show. I
When he
love the
came
big show.
out, he came out on that ramp looking hella bow-legged. Like it just it didn't look the same, man. It
Yeah,
didn't
he
look.
looked imposing.
He did, but we'll see. Like I think the last time he was in the ring was against QT Marshall, and on the pre-show of one of the pay-per-views last year. I can't remember which one, but
He did a choke slam in London or one of them things. He beat somebody up in London.
on the pre-show too, right?
Yeah. hmm I think didn't I joke about this last week about how like only when he outside the ring you can see his six pack. But when he
Yeah.
get when he get in front of you, his six pack is gone.
Ain't third. It's not there.
Oh, what is it going? You be in the gym, six pack is out there.
Listen. So I'm assuming this is alluding to Full Gear having a match with Kenny, Jericho, and no BS Paul Wight against the Don Callis family, which that might be. I don't know how I feel about that match.
So that segment was a build up for the next pay per view.
Well, they're still continuing this Don Callis versus Kenny and Jericho thing because it was Kenny and Jericho versus 2.0,
Mm-hmm.
and like Callis hired him was like hired goons to take out Jericho and Omega in a match, and after the match is when there's always a hullabaloo after a match like this, and then Big Show comes when Paul Wight comes out at the top of the ramp as their third friend, stands there menacingly in his ring gear, and so
Very
I'm assuming that's
menacingly.
gonna be yeah. So I'm assuming that's gonna be their Full Gear match because it's still
The way
they
it
still
looked,
got
I thought it was gonna be next week. I was like, oh, I'll tune in for that.
maybe because they do have a they were promoting there's a Dynamite in California. I think it might be the Dynamite before Full Gear that they're promoting already. So it might happen then. Or it might be now it won't be a pre-show match, not with Kenny and Jericho involved. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Will
Speaking of
Hobbs is gonna sell his ass off in that match, boy.
yeah,
Oh man,
yeah,
he's gonna. It'll be fun though. I mean, it's no knock on the Big Show. It's just I think also I mentioned I'm like we haven't seen Mark Henry do nothing yet. I thought he wanted to
yeah,
lace him back up yet. It'll be
yeah.
interesting to see if he ever does that. Um, it's just I don't know when you've seen the Big Show as long as we have.
Mhm.
I mean, how old he is. I'm like, I don't know how if he's that same strong dude, imposing. Like, I'm not worried about him. What I mean, as a character, I'm like, bro, you've been
Yeah,
around,
like
man.
he
You're
can
moving
see
slow,
still
bro.
yeah, like I don't know what it's gonna be like when he I guess you could him being against they'll have him in there going up against Hobbs once the matches happen. So once Hobbs gets tagged
It's
in,
a
that's
street
when
fight, by the way. So like, there's gonna be all
okay,
kinds
so
of
we got
smoke and mirrors.
yeah,
Because
shenanigans.
we haven't really seen him do much in the ring over there. I just feel like like he punched somebody on the stage when he just came out last week, and or this week I could say, yeah, and
Yeah.
he looked off balance even just throwing the punch. I was like, hey, take it easy. It's almost like
Like
when Andre got older, man. He just was always off balance.
listen,
You
it's
know,
when you're that size, the older you get, your knees cannot support that shit anymore. So it's like and it looks like his knees are like caving in a
inverting.
little bit. Yeah,
Yeah.
you seen the way he's
Well,
standing.
certainly the
So
right knee. Certainly the right knee.
yeah, yeah,
Left one looks man normal. That right knee
yeah,
is like, there
leaning.
you go.
So we'll see how that goes. As long as he doesn't have to he won't have to hit the ropes.
He got
Throw
to
a
go
couple
get that little. You
punches.
got to get the Kobe Bryant procedure, man. Go get the platelet rich. Go to Germany
I
and
know,
Brazil,
right?
whatever. Get that thing rocking, man. You
Listen,
know.
I think a couple overhand chops. He'll choke slam. Maybe who's I guess Cal Fletcher's like the lightest of the group since I think Guevara's still out dealing with the concussion, but he might make a return since Full Gear's still a couple weeks out. But we'll see.
No, yo,
We'll
no.
see.
Will Hobbs is taking a choke slam, man. I don't know if they're gonna win, but you gotta give us the choke slam of Will Hobbs. You
Yeah,
know, you
yeah.
gotta give us that. Yeah, I
Get
ain't
that
mad
little
at that.
payoff going.
I ain't mad at that. Shout out Paul Wight, man. He's a legend, man. We just having some fun, B.
Yeah, he is
He's a legend.
Captain Insano.
Yeah, they're
Um,
making they're putting that thing to work. That property.
yeah.
Use them a couple times. That's pretty funny.
Listen, you got to shit.
How they
Um,
pay for it.
Up next on the agenda, AEW has announced a new pay-per-view. It'll be this coming December the 30th, Saturday, called World's End. And it will be live from the Nassau Coliseum in Long Island, baby.
That's right.
So the New York area gets its first AEW pay-per-view. Um, it is interesting that it's in December at the end of December. I believe that's when MJF's contract is up too. So we'll see if they
Okay.
have like a little story playing into the whole since it is his hometown of Long Island. I see him retaining the championship at Full Gear, so I'm assuming he'll still be world champion at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I don't see him leaving. Like I don't think if he was to make the jump to the E, I don't think now's the time yet. I feel like he needs another. It'll be like after this next contract is up. So I could see them doing maybe something like send the fans home happy, have MJF announces re-signing an extension at the pay-per-view, or have him physically sign the contract at the pay-per-view as a little send-off, a
Oh,
little
because he's
send the
a
fans home
face right
happy.
now.
Yeah, he's a face. He'll be the hometown hero. I mean, and we've seen him in Long Island before, but
He's always a face in Long Island, though. It's
yeah,
not
he's
gonna look
always a face
different.
on Long Island. So yeah,
Yeah.
like that
Yeah.
crowd was not booing him at all. Like you couldn't pay them to boo him. Maybe you
I don't
could.
think he's gonna get booed in New York,
No, no.
let alone Long Island. You know.
Because this is his. Because I've seen him. Like I've seen him in MLW. So I've been watching MJF for a while now, and they always, whenever they were in New York, they ran shows out of Queens. So he has that whole Queens, Long Island faction firmly behind his side. So
Mm-hmm.
um I was assuming, well, the rumor was that the December pay-per-view was gonna be in New York, but might have been at the Manhattan Center instead. But I guess they're going,
Oh, that would have been raw. That would
yeah,
have
that would
been
have been cool.
real gritty.
Because the ROH pay-per-view in December is not even in New York. So that's out of the question. So I was hoping maybe it'd be this, but it makes sense. Do it in Long Island, do it for MJF. He's been doing this thing as a face champ.
Yeah, I'm gonna get into that later on. Um,
Oh
but
yeah.
sure, because he's doing a good job at it. All is not. It's not pandering,
No,
so
no.
that allows you to like enjoy it. He's not pandering at all, man.
Yeah. And
Moving
oh,
along.
one more
Yeah, go ahead.
thing.
This is a
I
very
guess this,
AEW friendly episode. I just want the people to know, like, there's a lot of
yeah,
AEW energy on
they've
this
been
one.
in, yeah, they got a lot of news. They've been doing a lot of shit.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing this December pay-per-view is proof that there was a rumor that they were expanding to maybe 10 to 12 pay-per-views a year. So I guess this is the first step. So we'll see how that progresses as 2024 goes on.
Yeah,
And
they need some writers over there, man. You get some guys coming with some ideas. You're gonna churn out more pay-per-views, you need to churn out more stories.
yeah,
More
you need a team.
stories.
It can't just be Tony by himself doing everything because he's doing it for them, ROH, and like he's an active member of like I forgot what soccer team it is. I think it's Fulham, something like that. But he's active in the front office there. I don't know how active he is with the Jaguars. I think that's more of his
More his dad's
father's
thing.
thing. But
Mm.
yeah. But yeah, he's spreading himself thin, man. He's spreading himself thin.
By
But
the way,
next,
I ain't put this here. I'm a quick note of this, but he had a big announcement, Tony Khan.
oh,
Dynamite. Huge
these big
announcement.
announcements.
I do think now when they do that shit, they're trolling us, and I laugh every time they say there's a big announcement because
Yeah,
they know we're
yeah.
like, come on. But he's dropping a pre-sale for the next All in London that will be next August.
Hmm.
Um, and so he just wanted people to know that they're gonna drop a pre-sale soon, and the site is open for them to like check out pricing and stuff now. So I guess
Yeah.
people can get their bread together. I think it's a decent announcement. It's not what I was expecting. I don't know what I was expecting. I don't have any expectation
Yeah.
for his big announcements anymore. But
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect either. Because it's like the thing you expect it to be. It's like unless it's the only real big announcement he can come up with is signing a top guy from the E, which is not gonna happen.
maybe
Or
Goldberg. Goldberg is the only big signing right now.
yeah, and then maybe announcing a streaming service. That'd be the
That'd
only
be
other
big.
like game changing AEW thing. But other than that, like
Yeah. Give me AEW for $9.99. I
yes,
watch every pay-per-view.
yes, and then you can throw ROH up on there too.
And I
Boom.
and I and I will check it out. I will gladly check it out. Um but yes, we covered Ric Flair coming out as Sting's gift, if not last episode, the episode before.
Yeah.
And usually this is becoming sort of like when 2K has a featured superstar in their game, they get a run. They come back, they get a run. It
Hmm.
hasn't failed yet. And most times if someone shows up on your AEW screen, more than likely they're gonna get a run.
Yeah.
And AEW has signed apparently Ric Flair to a 2-year deal through his Woo energy drink. And
Yes.
what looked like just a little happy swan song trip around the sun for Ric Flair and Sting for the next couple months has turned into a
But
2-year contract for I
yeah.
knew as soon as I saw it I wasn't surprised. I said
No.
that man's gonna get if they make him a deal he's gonna get his check.
He's not gonna turn it down. He's not gonna say, nah, I'm good. I don't need that money.
I love the game. He loves the hustle.
He
You
does,
know,
man.
you
I
know.
mean, the internet was not thrilled, of course,
Understandably so.
with the history the after the Dark Side of the Ring episode aired and those issues being brought. I mean, people knew of like Ric Flair's bad behavior, but it wasn't really as well documented as it was in the Dark Side of the Ring. So once that episode came out, people were really being hands off. And then he was really weird with people on Twitter with wrestlers, like the shit with him and Becky was real, like legit. Like I'm sure Becky still does not like that man to this day. So
What did Becky say to him?
I
Or if you
forgot what it
remember.
was. It was when Becky was calling herself the man. Ric Flair
Oh, okay.
went like had a whole tizzy, like he was,
You
basically going on Twitter saying like calling himself the man, you're not even as good as Charlotte, blah blah blah, 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 which led to the
there
actual
mhm.
animosity between Becky and Charlotte that was, making itself apparent. I think what was it? They had a WrestleMania match or a Rumble match where the buildup was,
No,
those
it wasn't Mania. It was
issues.
definitely like Rumble or one of those
Yeah, I think
pay-per-views.
yeah, I
It
think it
was
was a
really
Rumble.
good though. It really fueled
Yeah,
that shit. Oh
yeah, it
my
did.
God.
Yeah,
I was invested. Oh my God.
yeah, like
And no
that
matter
video
what,
package was so good.
I'm sure they calmed down a little bit by now, but they gotta admit that
Mhm.
shit added because they've already been feuding a while. I'm not saying that
Yeah,
they needed something, but that provided something different, a different energy to what's going on.
yeah. It
And so
was like a shot in the arm.
so I enjoyed their back and forth. I think what you see in that though, and you see it a lot of times with Ric Flair, he'll just start cutting promos on anybody out of the blue.
Yeah,
But I think
yeah.
it has a lot to do with they said a lot in his documentaries, like that's his risk business is his
Mhm.
identity. More than anybody else, probably that we can figure. Like he doesn't even really recognize he just found out his real name a couple years ago, apparently. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's been Ric Flair for so long.
he
He
is Ric
forgot
Flair.
who Richard Flower is. He doesn't even know who that person is anymore.
I don't even think the dude name is Richard. For the new name is like something else. It's like
Oh yeah. Oh
his
word.
new
Damn.
family named him that. He was adopted. The new family named him Richard something. But his
Oh
original name is like I forgot what it was, but it's like it's like
yeah.
not Rick. I was like, nigga, what?
Yeah.
And and so he gets sensitive about when you come at stuff like his nickname and
Yeah. Yeah.
it's just I understand it. It's but and
Yeah.
so
I mean,
this deal
a
here,
lot of wrestlers from that era are like that too. They're very protective of their brand, their character, everything.
so I get it. I'm not justifying it, but that's his unique life experience with this thing. Like, and it manifests like this. He cannot put it down, bro.
Yeah,
If
you
he has an
can't.
opportunity to something be a fucking ride the bench and just Udonis Haslam this thing, he's
Yeah.
gonna Udonis Haslam AEW, bro. He is Udonis
Yeah.
Haslam right now.
I'm
He has been
wondering,
Udonis Haslam since he hasn't been able to really wrestle. He has been
oh yeah.
Udonis Haslam,
Yeah.
and that's what it is. I don't have much outrage for it. Like
Hmm.
I think what the issue that people might have, which is probably my Hulk Hogan issue with my 1619 hat on, is
Yeah.
like I don't maybe people don't feel like he was contrite. Like my issue with Hogan is not as much as you said all this wild shit. You did say that's abhorrent, but
Yeah.
the fact that you gave us the bullshit apology is more my issue. Like you
Hmm.
didn't find it,
Hmm.
you didn't find it feasible for you to be like specific about what you said and why you're upset. They gave all them other words, I had demons and all those other
Yeah.
vague
It's a
ass shit.
PR apology.
My nigga, my apology, like I always say, man, my barometer for your quality of apology is if your woman would accept it. And you can't give no woman no, hey man, sorry about that.
Yeah.
No,
Nah.
sorry for
Mm-mm.
what? You got to tell them
Mm-mm.
why. So that's what I want to know. What you sorry about? And the fact that that people kind of put his feet to the fire a little bit and he still didn't budge on it. He just went with that whole, hey man, I was drunk, I was on pills. I'm like, man, I don't, people do it every day. What are you
Yeah.
saying? So I think people don't think that Ric Flair really owned what was brought up about him in the dark side of the ring. To your
Hmm.
point, how people viewed his behaviors, it changed because you had a woman giving her account how she remembered things, and that humanizes the whole
Yeah.
experience. And so now people really sit with it. Because before it was just like, oh man, you just put the dick out in front of everybody. Like, yeah, man. But if a woman says, ew, this guy put his dick out in front of it's like not
Like, whoa,
it's
bro. Yeah.
it's not, especially I'm gonna say this, man. The way black people get wild and white people get wild is two different
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Right. And I do know there's probably people that black people that do abhorrent things and just whip their shit out. But the way that we party and the way that like
Hmm.
white folks party, like when they really on some the ones that party too
Yeah.
hard. I mean,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's a different experience, man. And back then, like you see Ric Flair now doing all the dancing he do, like ain't nobody dance like that. But when you don't give a fuck,
Yeah.
you just be
Exactly.
wiggling, man. You just
It's
gonna
like,
wiggle.
yeah.
Just gonna wiggle. And
It's
people just go, oh, like at this point, like, all
yeah.
right, do your thing. I'm glad you can still walk, you know.
Word. Well, we'll see how it goes. I'm assuming that maybe they'll move forward with the whole him managing Andrade thing now because they made a point on Collision to mention the fact that LFI was back and they tried to get Andrade's opinion on it. He wouldn't give an opinion. And then LFI's tweeting like there's only 4 members. There's no other members. So basically saying Andrade, not Andrade's not a part of this. So stop bringing it up. So we'll see
Mm,
how if that becomes the eventual storyline and Flair comes in and backs Andrade because Andrade. I'm surprised Andrade's been in the US for some years now, and his English hasn't improved as much as I've seen other wrestlers who just moved here, if that makes
hmm
sense. So,
Then he need to go speak with a Wembanyama instructor, man. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying
yeah,
Wembanyama is ready,
word. Now that dude
but
is. He's
Yo,
legit.
this is not wrestling related at all. But Bo is on the Suns, right?
I
I
believe
think the
he
Suns
is.
signed him.
Yeah, he's coming off the
Did he?
bench.
Have you seen the couple games they had with the Spurs? Did Bobo get any burn?
I don't think so.
I want to see Bo versus Wembanyama, man.
Yeah.
Fuck this Kevin Durant shit. I want to see Bo versus Wembanyama.
It's funny,
Yo,
Bobo gets mad minutes in like preseason and summer league, and that's about it.
why'd y'all bring him on? Because Shaq made the point, and I've been making it since the summertime. I'm like, all right, like Bo is like the same size and like almost the same size, but handles the ball, shoots the three, got
Hmm.
all the same game. So I'm like, but Shaq says he don't play hard enough. So I don't watch enough Bo to know how hard dude plays.
Yeah.
But I'm like,
Yeah,
bro,
I
at least
mean,
Bo.
I feel like I've heard other people say that about him too.
Oh, then damn, that's a bad
Like
reputation to have, boy. You
it's the
better.
it's not the skill, it's the motor.
But I'm like, bro, you basically can be better than your pops, and your pops is
Yeah.
remembered in a nice light. Like everybody was like, yeah, this nigga could play until like injuries, but like they're like this dude was all right,
Yeah.
pulling up
But
from
you
three
know.
eighties at his size. But whatever. That's that had nothing to do with our show today. I'm just saying. Wembanyama speaks very good English to the listeners, and he's from France. That was the whole connection.
Yes. And
So
so we'll see how collision goes and see if they further push that agenda. But yeah,
you know,
Rick that and
I made a
yeah.
mistake. I made a mistake. I didn't mean Randy at Crown Jewel. I meant we get Randy at Survivor Series. That's what I really.
Okay. Okay.
I
All
know
right.
that pay per view. It's later this month at some point. The way that WWE be churning out shows. Uh, there's rumored because Roman Reigns doesn't have a scheduled title defense for Survivor Series that
Hmm.
maybe Randy Orton makes his return there. He is probably one of the best character performers at Survivor Series. What say you?
Oh, he's Mr. Survivor Series. He's been what Soul Survivor like what 5 times or something like that.
I'm like that, man.
Nah, he's that man. Like we're assuming, and it's a smart assumption that Roman retains that crown jewel. So it'll be a
Yeah.
nice little a little filler feud for Roman as he proceeds to reestablish the dominance of the bloodline, the dominance they've lost since his hiatus.
Let me ask you. You over? Yeah.
What the bloodline?
Yeah. Are you over the title reign?
The title reign, I don't know if I'm over it as much as it's like there's no, I don't know how many more moments you can have with the title. Like what's left moment wise with that belt with Roman. You know, like LA Knight's a great
That's a
character,
good
so
question.
this feud can be carried on LA Knight's mic skills alone. But yeah, I don't know how many more moments you can be. At some point, he's just gonna just have the belt, and it's just gonna be like, all right, he's a champion, and we're all gonna be like, it's because it's been what 4 years now, almost 4 years,
Yeah, almost.
and like
Almost.
the thing with Sammy was great. The thing
About
with
three and a quarter right now.
yeah, the thing with Jay was great. I
A
like the
lot
feud
in the
with
build up was
KO.
great. I mean, even in the performance center or Thunderdome with Kevin Owens and just the beginnings of the reign was great to
Yeah,
me. Those are
yeah.
some good matches, but minus the handcuff debacle
Oh
with
yeah,
Kevin
yeah,
Owens and the last man
yeah,
standing. That shit was hilarious. It was like, yo, it's count to 10. Kevin Owens should be winning. They could have fucking hooked
They
the
couldn't.
fucking thing.
They had to let it go.
Oh
They
my
had to let it go.
God. That was so funny. Oh, anyway.
Yeah, like I don't know what other like I feel like the only big moment left is him losing it.
Yes, I agree with you.
So other than that, but as far as the bloodline itself, Jimmy's been hilarious. So I still find them as individuals entertaining.
Mhm.
Like just Jimmy being a not bumbling, but like the goofy, like he's playing up the goofiness now to a point where it's him and Roman's interaction is just great. And then what we're gonna do with Solo. Solo got to do a little something now. Like
Well,
he got to have
he
some
I mean,
motion to him.
we're gonna get more out of him after Crown Jewel. We get into that in a
Yeah,
little bit, but I think that's gonna be it should be a moment for him to help mold more of his character and who
yeah,
he is. I
yeah.
think so. But we'll see.
And
We'll
I mean,
see.
there's a couple more cousins who just got their release from MLW, so we'll see if they just add
Son,
to the bloodline.
too many dogs. There's too many.
Oh,
It's
listen,
so
they
interesting
got
in this world of wrestling. Like I've been watching Samoans my whole life. When I was a
mhm,
kid, and the head shrinkers came out, and my mother would see Alpha managing them.
yeah,
She'd be like, "Yo, yeah, he used to wrestle," and I'm like, "What?" Didn't know that. I'm like, "Bro, what are you talking about?" I thought this lady was crazy. I'm like, "You don't look like no wrestler to me."
yeah,
But
yeah,
especially back then, he was a little bit older. By that point, I was like, "Wrestle." My mother said the same thing about Mr. Fuji, and I was like, "What? Oh, these are what?" I was like, "Get out of town!" Like I was like, "Oh, he's a major. Look how small he is." But then he was bigger when he wrestled. Like he was just a bigger
yeah,
guy,
yeah,
you know. But Simone's have been in front of my face since then. And then as you get older, you watch the older stuff. I'm like, damn, Fatu Sam was in WCW. There was in this place.
hmm, yep,
I've been watching the Usos pops legitimately almost my whole life, and he was my guy, man. Like
yeah,
head shrinkers are always gonna be my shit. Them dudes are
yeah.
always gonna be my shit. You know.
It's
Um.
it's gotten to the point where like even people who are like Samoan adjacent get associated with them. Like I
Mm-hmm.
remember when I first heard of Jimmy Superfly, I was like, "Oh shit, he's from I think he's from Fiji.
Yeah, that's what
I
they
believe
say.
he's
Yep.
from Fiji." But then
But he spent a lot of time with them when he was coming up.
Mang and the Barbarian, I thought they
Yeah.
were members of the Hanoi, but they're not members of the Hanoi family. They're just other Pacific Islanders in wrestling, but they got a foothold in this game, man, and a
Mm-hmm.
long history in this game.
And they putting each other on, man.
Yeah,
They
and I
putting each other
believe
on.
on the ends, I think his name is Jake Fatu.
Yep.
Let me see.
I think he was working in Japan for a little bit too. I want to say.
Yeah,
I'm not versed in that, but I do know that. I think he isn't one of them dudes Ming's son. Ain't he Ming's son? One of them is Ming's son,
it might be.
and one of them
Okay,
was in
so
the Bullet Club and some other shit like that.
yeah, they have a oh, what's his name? He's like a 7 footer. He's like a tall 7 footer that was in the Bullet Club. Tim, I can't remember his name because he's had a couple matches in AEW as well.
Okay.
Let me see. So they have former wrestlers, Tamatonga,
That might be what it
who
was.
yeah, Tamatonga, he is his father, yeah, so him and Hikuleo and Tangaloa, they're all in Battle Club. They're all in Bullet Club and they're Haku's well, he's Haku's nephew, but Haku eventually adopted all of them as his sons. But some of them are his legit sons.
Mhm.
Hikuleo's his legit son, but Tama and Tonga are his nephews, but he raised them. So yeah. So it's the second family
Excuse me.
in
Okay.
wrestling.
I thought I could like block that. It wasn't happening.
Yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, they're all still in New Japan for the most part. But yeah, that it's deep. It's deep, man. Just like famous families in wrestling, like the Von Erichs, their legacy is ended with Lacey Von Erich and her brief TNA run back in the day. But it's crazy, man. To this day, and then other wrestlers marrying into the family, and the family getting extended that way, which is how we get to The Rock and everything being associated with them.
Right, right.
I remember the first time I found out Yokozuna wasn't really Japanese,
I know that
even though
was
I had
kind
a
of.
like as a kid, I looked at him, I was like, he don't look Japanese, but his name is Yokozuna, so I'm gonna assume he's
I'm
Japanese.
not asking no questions. I took what they gave me,
Yeah,
man. I ain't I'm asking no questions. I'm
but
for
not
that.
him being part of the Anoa'i family. I hope I'm pronouncing that right.
I think you are
Um,
N-O-Y-E.
yeah,
N-O-Y-E. But
yeah, man.
yeah,
My
man.
man
But we'll see
Haku.
if we get Randy at Survivor Series. I'm ready to see him back.
Yeah, and we'll see if we get the alleged well, what the internet wants is or has been assuming is that CM Punk is going to show up because I believe
I'm,
Survivor Series is in Chicago.
I'm not getting my hopes up, but
Yeah, nah,
I do think he will
nah,
be back. You could always mark my he will
yeah.
be back. He will be back. He will be back. But I don't know. It seems a little
Listen,
soon, and I don't know where we're
yeah,
putting him. But at the same token, you bring in Nia Jackson and stuff. I don't know where you were putting her, but they're finding things for people. So
yeah, yeah,
we'll see. I don't even like. I ain't even trying to spoil that for myself. I'll
yeah.
allow myself
Word,
to be a fan with that. If he shows up for whatever reason, doing whatever, cool, cool. We're in that
yes,
era right now, man. People jumping here and there. You don't know what's happening. I'm gonna lean into it because it's very nostalgic for me.
yeah. Oh, one thing I wanted to bring up. I just heard a
Mhm.
report yesterday that your man Dave Meltzer was talking about how things in AEW, the things are being booked more like last minute and closer to the show, sometimes the night of
We
the
were
show.
we've been talking about this. It's
Yeah,
getting like
and
WWE.
yeah, and which is a big thing that Vince did. But
Yes.
so the Observer tweeted that, and then Jerry Lynn, who works backstage at AEW, he tweeted a follow up. He's like, "Yeah, it's necessary because we have." He basically alluded that there's people leaking information about storylines to the news sites in the AEW locker room. So they've been,
He's like, people like you is why this shit is fucking up.
yeah, yeah, and I will give them some leeway in this sense. There's been a handful of times in AEW where storylines been going, and then a freak injury has just derailed everything.
I agree.
So they've had to switch things up at the last minute. I mean, when Brian broke his arm at Forbidden Door, which took him out of the Blood and Guts match.
Right. He broke his face just now.
Yeah, just broke his face.
Moxley and the concussions.
Moxie and the concussion, and then Phoenix ends up getting injured right after
Mm-hmm.
at that, which is why the belt ended up back on Orange Cassidy.
Where it should have been the whole time. That's my
Yeah,
guy.
yeah.
Oh, they were trying to do there.
Pac's injuries keeping him out. Jamie Hayter still out.
Oh, yeah,
You know
that's
what I'm
right.
saying? So that Thunder Rosa
Adam
is still
Cole.
out. Adam Cole, there it
Adam.
is. So
This
it's
dude
like
really shattered his foot on that. That was such a small jump, bro. That's like me jumping off like a
it's
little stage. Oh my
it's crazy.
God.
I guess your foot lands and hits certain pressure points and it's just over.
You're always
But
supposed to sort of bend your knees a little bit though when you jump just to absorb the
yeah,
shock. But he
yeah.
didn't do that. And he thought, but I don't know, he's 120 pounds. I probably wouldn't have did it neither. It's very upsetting, man. I hope he gets well
Yeah,
soon.
yeah,
I thought that was, that story is fun. They're keeping him on TV talking through Roger Strong and shit. I mean,
yeah,
they're keeping it warm.
yeah.
But they said
But
he had to
that
put.
just
I don't
goes to
know if he
show
was.
you.
Hmm.
Yeah, that just goes to show you like there's been reasons why they had to book everything last minute and on the fly, at least in recent months. But we'll see if this becomes a trend long term.
I will say this. I mean, you can't guarantee anything, but this is why the WWE is so staunch on like having a certain style to work.
Mhm.
And like
Yeah,
being
yeah,
selective when you go all out. I think AEW people, their culture is like, yo, they go 110 any show. Like if there were AEW house shows, you probably see people going 110.
yeah.
TV shows, they're going 110.
That's that
Pay-per-views,
indie
they go
mentality.
110.
That's that indie wrestling mentality where you got you because you never know if this is the match that's going to make you famous or get you a deal with a big company. So I think some of them still stuck in that mindset because they're
You're gonna
all
get
from that.
famous. You're gonna get
Yeah,
famous with I'm gonna tell you what you're gonna get famous with. The shit that Tony Storm be doing. That's what
yeah,
you're gonna get famous with.
yeah,
That woman can take this character now
yeah,
anywhere, and do the stuff
yeah,
that she always done did. But nobody was really I wasn't remembering her for nothing. And now I am.
yeah.
It's
Exactly.
like, so
She's
hopefully they
she got to
realize
get the
that.
belt back. She got to get the belt back at Full Gear.
She's like
Um,
she's one of the best things they got going on. It's her, it's
yeah,
MJF, the stuff that Swerve is doing.
hmm,
They have a few things going on.
yeah. But
So
in
yeah,
their
like
defense, a lot of those injuries have been freak injuries. Like the Cole injuries a freak injury. Like Daniel Bryan, his arm broke on an elbow drop. It's just his arm was just
I mean,
in
his,
the wrong
the
position.
orange punch gave him an orbital thing just now.
Yeah,
These are the things which is funny when wrestlers start talking about they want to retire. These are the things that start happening. Little ticky tack bullshit injuries.
yeah, yeah.
I was watching like some people just prone, son. Like I was watching the Sixers last night. End of the game, the Sixers are gonna win, and B making a little spin move as he spins. Ananobi, one of these people on the Raptors, had
Oh
jumped
yeah,
up
his
to
his
block this
face
shot, hit
collided
his
into
face,
his torso. Yeah,
and I'm like, bro, this nigga he breaks his face every season,
every
and he didn't
season.
ask for it. He was doing a regular move, and this dude is old. Like, sit your ass down. You hurting my dudes. You
Listen,
know
they
what I mean?
cooked though. He was cooking. He was cooking
Oh,
last night.
he man, that's my dude, man. You know,
Yeah,
he got caught up
it's
in a
cooking.
whole lot of.
Granted, Toronto ain't really.
They're not
Toronto's
shaking,
in like a slight rebuild phase.
but the issue
I like
is
the young dude with the slow motion play style on Toronto. I can't remember his name,
ain't
but
Barnes, no.
yeah, Scotty Barnes. Yeah,
We
I
got
like
Scotty
him.
Barnes.
Yeah, I like him.
He's talented. He's
Yeah,
talented. My thing with those type of things is like, yo, they might not be good, but if the Sixers lost to them, we gonna be on their ass. So you gotta
yeah,
win the ones you're supposed to win. You have to win
yeah,
the ones you're supposed to win
yeah,
because you're not gonna please people. You have to do it. You know what I mean? Um,
definitely.
Going into the Slam of the Week, let me just say, I was home for most of Collision last week, Saturday.
Hmm.
I watched and I was so I don't know, I was very convinced that there's no way uh Omega and MJF ends in a clean finish.
Yeah,
That was one of the
I was.
biggest swerves of my life last Saturday. And they put on I had a great time watching the match. It did tell a story, thank
Yes,
God.
yes,
And even Don Callis ain't really getting involved. You know what I mean? Like it really was almost pretty much as straight up of a match you could get out these
yeah.
guys.
With very minimal interaction from him, which is
Um,
good.
they just teased it. They're like, "Yeah, watch. We know how you thought it was going to end." They're like, "Yeah, this how it's going to end," and it didn't end that way. So
Listen, when the match started at 10:30, or I mean at 9:30 instead of like 9:45, I was like, oh, they're
they're
for
about to do it.
sure going for the 30-minute draw. For sure going 30-minute draw. But
We got a
to both
decision.
of our surprise, yeah,
Yeah,
clean win.
yeah. I had a good time with that match. That's my salmon. I had a good time. Like
Yeah. Oh no, that's mine too. Yeah. So yeah, that's it.
you
It
know,
it it, it like MJF did a Fosbury flop. MJF has never dived over or through the ropes ever until that match, and he's showing like his
he won't make that. That
character.
won't be a regular thing. But that's gonna
No,
be
no,
like
no.
what
Yeah,
Booker T used to have a finisher called the Harlem Hangover in WCW, where he would flip off the
yeah,
top rope and land on his
yeah.
leg. And when he got to WWE, like he didn't really do it at all. But if it was a
No,
big enough match, you might get the
got to
Harlem
pull it
Hangover.
out.
That gets
Yeah.
rare. And it's like if you've been watching Booker T long enough, you know that's there for him. You know he could do some stuff off
Hmm.
the top rope. We just don't do it all the time. You
Yeah.
know, and I think that's that version of that. Or like Randy Orton used to do that flying cross body, but I think it started to hurt him. He used to do a flying
Oh
cross body off the top
yeah,
rope.
that's
And he used to
true.
get mad air over it. Like these guys got shit in their arsenal. You just can't
Oh,
whip it out.
Orton got hops.
He used to
Orton
get
got
up
hops.
there.
Yeah,
Oh
still
my
one of the
God.
prettiest drop kicks in the game. Always loved his drop kick. Always. Because he was
Yeah.
hitting you square in the forehead.
Him, Hardcore Holly, Eddie Guerrero, those are my favorite drop kicks.
Yeah. Yeah. AJ
Eddie
Styles has a
Guerrero,
good one too.
who's that? Oh
A
yeah,
younger
80 Styles
AJ
did.
Styles had a good one. Yeah.
Fucking Eddie Guerrero would be like, yo, you could be standing right in front of him. He would jump up right to the point of your face. Like he was so specific.
Hmm.
And then I'm like, oh, this guy's he's just good, man. He's
And he
just
was
good.
like that rare combination of like power, precision. He had like that quick twitch muscle
Very
thing
he was
going
just
on with
crispy.
everything.
He
Yeah.
was like crisp.
Every,
He was crisp like Bret Hart crisp.
he
Like
put a snap
real.
on everything.
Mm-mm.
No wasted motion. No wasted motion from that man.
Like you could watch people, and I think they understand this. You could watch certain wrestlers, and it's like you can respect what they're doing because the shit just looks really snug and
Yeah.
real like it's supposed to
Yeah.
look. He was one of
Hmm.
those guys. Ben Wild was one of those guys. Kurt Angle's one of those guys. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
ugh, like there's no sloppy in their game, son. Like
Nah.
I think even Jericho could be sloppy once in the blue, but
Hmm.
these dudes was crisp like every night. Like it's something to be said about that.
Omega's another one. Omega's
Omega
another
is
one.
crispy.
Like the
He got good
moves he
job
like
plays.
he knows how, like that Snapdragon. Every like he's another one that's like no wasted motion, or every movement he does means
It's supposed to
something.
matter, right?
Yeah. And but MJF, man, he's
On
having a
that
hell of
note,
a run.
I was well, actually this is a natural progression into that anyway. Uh
Yeah.
I really enjoyed Dynamite this week. And they basically weave this story throughout the whole show about him having to find a partner, which is always a great
Yeah. Yeah.
thing to do on a show. And of course, they've been building for weeks with Max Caster wanting to be friends with MJF. And like,
Yeah.
yeah, that idea. And he's like, I'm not fucking with you. And I'm gonna keep looking. And of
Yeah,
course,
man. You too
ultimately
weird, bro.
he had to do it. And then he showed them like, yo, you have to wear this. And I knew it was like pink something. I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
And he comes out in like pink Burberry and pink. I'm like, this is fucking hilarious.
Listen,
That was
it's
so entertaining. That might have been one of the most like top five entertainment dynamites, just on the
yeah.
entertainment level.
Like I loved
Oh
how
my
like
god,
he gets the garbage bag and he's like, no, absolutely not. I'm not wearing this. No. And then he runs into Jeff Jarrett
Jeff
and Jay
Jarrett.
Lethal and he's like,
Yeah,
a
and Jeff Jarrett,
second thought.
Jeff
Maybe I
Jarrett's
won't
like,
win.
Max, I knew you'd come.
Yeah.
He's like, oh
And
god,
Max is like, nah, you know what? Nah. Absolutely not.
oh my
Absolutely not. And
god.
like he has the like Wardlow fucking choking him up, yoking him up after he was I think it was after he looked in he was knocking on Kenny Omega's door and then Jericho answered
Oh, that
and
was
then he
good.
was yeah,
That's what I like. And that's what Triple H is getting better at now.
mhm,
Let's not forget the fact that we wasn't cozy, yo. We wasn't straight.
yeah, yeah.
Let's not forget that.
But
Unless we discuss it, let's not forget that.
yeah, man. And MJF is just he's hit I forgot who said it. I don't want to say Roddy Piper, but someone was saying some wrestler said like in order, like the greatest baby faces were also the greatest heels. So like when
Yeah.
you're really good as a heel, like you know the character cues and everything, but doing a baby face is easy. It's easy. It's just doing everything you've done, but in a more positive.
I will say this, and I always realize it, and the commentary has a lot to do with it also.
Yeah,
But like you kind of almost work the same way. It's just when you do
yeah,
certain things. Like
yeah,
when Hulk Hogan was a heel, he would do the eye pokes, the eye rakes on a regular basis, the back
yeah,
rakes, stuff like that. Take off his weight belt, hit you with it, yada yada. When he was a face, he didn't do it all the time. But if he felt like he had to fight fire with fire, or if
hmm,
he had a match where he had to come off more aggressive, then
yeah,
he'd be like, "Oh, eye poke, back rake." And he's like, "Oh, Hogan's really aggressive tonight. Oh, this is going to require a whole another side of him." I'm like, "Man, you're
yeah,
doing the same shit." They'll, if Flair would do it as a face, of, oh well, he's the dirtiest player in the game. He knows
yeah,
all the
yeah.
tricks.
It'd
You
be the
know,
same thing with Eddie. The same thing with Eddie Guerrero. You know, he
oh,
lies, he cheats, he steals, whether he's a heel or a
that
face. You
shit
know,
turned into a babyface thing, yo. Like I
it
remember when
did,
he was
it
doing
did.
it, and it was like
It,
you're not supposed to do that, and then like people just started thinking it was funny.
hmm.
And it that alone turned it. Like it's hilarious how that worked. That's
And
hilarious how that
like, and MJF is he said he's only 26. Like he's still only
worked. Is
26,
he
so he's
really?
still yeah. So it's like
Bro, we got 20 more years of MJF.
yeah.
God
So
willing.
this is his Randy Orton moment when Randy Orton got the belt at 26. Even though that was more so that was in part because they wanted a younger champion, and but it was more so they wanted to erase
Lesnar, right?
Brock's Lesnar's record as being the youngest champion.
Although Randy Orton won the world heavyweight title,
Yeah,
Brock Lesnar was still gonna be the youngest
yeah,
WWE champion.
yeah. But
He might
it
still
was
be. I don't know if that got broken. He might still be.
Yeah, I think that was when he left and went to like play for the Vikings or some shit. It was
Hmm.
like real black, and then he ended
They
up
were
going
on
to New
bad terms.
Japan. Yeah, he ended up going to New Japan anyway and winning the world title over there.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it was that was a weird time in WWE's history. But yeah, MJF is he's doing his thing, man. And it was
And
always you
to
always
his
knew he
credit,
could pull it off.
man, he is probably their best champion thus far, and they
Yeah,
got a good run out of him.
yeah.
I must say, and they had decent
It's
champions. I love Punk,
yeah,
and I like Jericho's reign. They've had
mhm.
some good champions. I ain't mad at it.
And it's I think what really helps is he has that theater stage acting background, so he knows the subtle like facial expressions to use in certain situations to help play up a situation. Like when Wardlow choked him up, he had this look like a little kid getting bullied. Like you felt sorry for him. Like yo, he getting
You
yoked up,
can get
and
if you could get empathy out of the viewer, man.
yeah, and he's I think he's shaving the facial hair more and doing less facial hair as a baby face to help play to that. Like it helps his because he has a very no pun intended baby face as well. Like
Yeah,
he
yeah,
looks
yeah.
young, so
Mm-hmm.
it helps play up the sympathy. But yeah, man,
Yeah.
he
No,
is.
I actually felt
I
for him when Wardlow pressed him because it came out the blue. I
yeah,
was like, hey, easy,
like bro, my man's trying to find a partner, man. Let it like
easy,
come
bro.
on. But yeah, that'll be interesting to see how that develops the Warlow situation. But MJF is doing his thing, man, doing his thing, and we'll see. I don't think there'll be a bidding war because again, I don't think WWE would sign him. Like it's weird to put into words, but I feel like he's established himself as the guy in AEW. But I feel like
He has to
WWE
come in like that.
exactly like he
Yeah.
needs a little bit more for WWE to be like, all right, you're gonna come in and be the man instead of as opposed to all right, you're gonna come in, you're gonna be like mid card guy.
Honestly, I think they probably does want him, but they're probably like, bro, you're 20 something. We'll get you at 31. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
we'll get you
Like
at like whatever. You know what I
like
mean?
once you're more refined and more polished and got more years under your belt, and you're still gonna be in your prime regardless. So
Yeah.
it's fine.
And within that time, anything can happen. He could fall out with manager. The politics of any
Yeah,
workplace. Like,
yeah.
so I
It's
think
just
that's more likely to
at this
happen.
point, yeah, at this point, he's the man in AEW. So why leave now? You know, because I could see, and even if they didn't put him immediately in a main event in WWE, he definitely has the he could do. He'd have an LA Knight run where he just his charisma and everything will organically take him to the top. Anyway, so
He'll go, yeah, or he
and
could come in like Cody. Maybe not right
yeah,
to the main event, but like
yeah,
come in on the mid card, be like, oh, like that's a moment. Whenever he does get there, it has to be a moment.
yeah,
He will
yeah,
also get there. He is one of those. He is in that Jade family. You're supposed to be in WWE, man.
yeah. And it's tough because he's like he grew up like he's a wrestling fan, so he
You know it.
watched more than WWE, but WWE was his shit. He had like I've seen the footage from his WrestleMania theme like bar mitzvah.
Yeah,
Like
man.
he was going hard. Like he is
If
in this shit.
he's a New Yorker, man, and that's what they
Yeah.
call WWE, man. They call it New York. So I mean, it's
Yeah. And people like that tend to having the WrestleMania moment tends to mean more to people like that because they pay more attention to the history of WrestleMania means more to them than like the average, like former NFL player turn WWE superstar type situation.
anyone in that AEW locker room would love to have a WrestleMania moment or match. It's just one of them things, man. It was
Yeah.
when I began writing, I was like, I love to write for Essence, I love to write for Ebony, something like that. I got to do one of
Hmm.
them things. You just want to say you did it. That's all.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
was there. I could hang a little bit.
Yeah.
That's good enough for me.
Hmm.
You know, that's good enough for me.
Shout out.
Tomorrow, as we're recording on a Friday, y'all, we got Crown
Yes.
Jewel. Uh,
Hmm.
I think I plan to get up early, run a couple of errands, and pick up some pizza and watch me some Crown Jewel. That's pretty much my move. Um,
It's 2 p.m. or 1
I think
p.m.
it starts at 1. and wanted to know what you're looking forward to seeing, if anything, at Crown Jewel.
Let's see. This might be the first one I watch.
Oh,
I will say,
you were protesting them, right?
yeah,
Okay, no
yeah.
problem, no problem.
Um,
I'm like you know what's funny? I write,
ooh,
I recently wrote something that should come out today. This is what I was working on before we got on about the
yeah,
NFL and how I believe that they like to say that they don't like to get political, but they always do political things. So I was talking about
hmm
how they had a moment of silence for the victims in Jerusalem after this Hamas attack. Just fine. Who wouldn't? But but they haven't said much else about like the horrors in the whole region. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
all
yeah,
parties that are affected that have nothing to do with the actual conflict. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And so I wrote about that. I'm like, it's real glaring that they don't highlight that at all. But like the NBA, when I watched the NBA during that period after those attacks, and they did do a tribute to those people in Israel that got hurt, killed in the attack. They also was like, yo, they were basically like, yo, like we hate seeing any of this period. We hope everybody like can stay safe and just
yeah,
get through this whole
yeah.
debacle. They basically said that. And I'm like, yeah, I think that's the more humane approach. But the NFL
Yeah.
loves to be like, yep, we on this side, and that's it.
Listen, I think they changed like the end zone. There like used to be a message in the end zone.
And
I forgot what it
racism.
was. Yeah, I think they changed that, and I forgot what they put. But it was like, yeah, sure, you're not political, but yeah, because it's
Yeah.
something with like political leanings that they replaced it with.
Sure.
So
I mean, like, so I made the argument what I wrote, but I say that to say like I can be that aware and I'll still be like, I'm gonna
yeah,
watch Crown Jewel.
yeah, 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 yeah.
So I'm guilty.
Nah,
I'm guilty of it. But I think part of it is become they were easier for me to not watch before when they were just like
yeah,
exhibition shows
yeah.
and like
The
they weren't
card is
really,
making it.
but they are like the last few have been really good. Like and has everything to
Mhm.
do with the stories that are going on. I'm like, and like I don't know, man. What am I watch? There was a Bianca versus Bailey match. It's like a falls count anywhere match. And I might have mentioned it was a show before too. It was the
Yeah.
one of the most fun matches I've seen in my life. In my life. Mitchell was fighting on top of the fucking golf cart, on the roof of a golf cart. They were fighting. What do y'all? What is this madness, man?
Oh
Madness.
man, listen. I will
But as I
say,
think about it, I'm curious to see what happens with LA Knight and Roman Reigns. Just the styles, how the match looks.
yeah.
Uh,
How
hoping it's a faster pace.
yeah, and it has to be like we know LA Knight's not going to win, but it has to be a way where they don't kill his momentum either, because the dude is arguably one of, if not the most over acts in the WWE right now.
And I don't think he hasn't seen the height of it yet. Like
No,
he could raise his
no,
stock with this match, really and truly.
yeah, and I would say I have a little personal bias because I've watched him for so long. Like I've
Hmm.
seen him in like his basic, not most of, if not his entire Impact run. I know he was doing stuff in NWA too. So to see him
That's when I
finally
met him.
and when he first got to WWE, it was shaky because he was like LA Knight, what kind of name is that? And then his NXT was a little shaky, and but he is
Max Dupree, what is that?
yeah, yeah, the maximum models, and I was like,
I'm like,
all right, but now
but
he's hit
Eli
his
Drake
groove,
and LA
man.
Knight is like the same thing.
Yeah, it's the same character,
Yeah,
but
same thing.
he the presentation just feels different. Like you always say, it just feels
Hmm.
different in WWE
Hmm.
compared to Impact, you know? So
Camera's just different. Shoot.
yeah, and then the little things he does, like coming out during Roman's entrance, like having his music hit while Roman's hasn't even walked down the ramp yet. Roman's still on stage, and LA Knight stealing his spotlight, and then bringing up the suffering succotash thing during the little doing the talk, and then saying I'm sitting at the head of the table because he was literally in the position that is the head of the table, and so it's those little
Fun. He is
yeah
very
those little
much your
subtle
attitude
things
era fix for like
yeah
promos and
yeah
presentation. And
yeah
I and
definitely.
I'm here for it. I had a good time with it. I'm here for that.
Mhm.
I am not mad at that.
Yeah, man. I just and it's I don't know how old he is. He's definitely in his like
He's in his
mid 30s.
40s.
He's in his
He's in his
40s, so
40s.
yeah. So
Early
yeah, because
40s
he's
though. I
been
don't
around
think
for
he's
a
old
long,
40s.
long time. Yeah. Yeah, early 40s, that's young in wrestling now. That's like real young in wrestling now.
Yeah. AJ Styles came over a little bit older. He could still go, man.
Yeah. I mean, look at Christian, 47, I think. Edge, probably 47,
They
48
both
years old as
lost a
well.
decade of their careers, man. So I'm glad they're getting to do what they're doing,
Yeah.
however they want to do it.
But that match,
I
I'll say, Io Sky versus Bianca Belair. That should be another banger. That should be another banger.
Bianca has set such a high bar for herself, and Io Sky is great in the ring.
Yeah.
I don't even doubt. I don't doubt anything that Bianca's getting herself into. So, like I'm like, all right, gonna be a good one. you know,
Oh, you heard about her and Montez getting a reality show.
I knew about that, but because of the
Yeah.
strike, it had been pushed back a long time. It was supposed to drop a minute ago,
Oh, word? Oh, okay.
but the strike, the Hollywood should pushed it back, boy. Like that thing affects everything. I think
Yeah.
it's dropping in February now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Happy for
Was that
them, man.
Love in WWE?
It's gonna be interesting though, because they were doing that, shooting that when Street Profits were faces.
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah, that's
now
true.
it's gonna be
That's
interesting to
true.
see how they go about that. Um, we'll see what they do with it. Them dudes need to figure out a direction too. Hopefully, I heard they got new music and stuff. I didn't get to hear it yet, but
Oh, okay.
that was needed though. That was needed if they're gonna have a more aggressive presentation. Um, I'm looking for the Rey Mysterio and Logan Paul.
Hmm.
I think it's gonna
That
be
should be fun.
fun.
Yeah.
I think people think Logan Paul will win. I'm not mad at it either which way, but I would do a lot for the title if Logan Paul won. This dude announced he want to fight for the title at a boxing match he just had, so I thought that was cool.
That's the only thing. He's not full on full time because he has his boxing
He better show up,
career.
U.S. champ. You
Yeah.
better show up and defend that shit. You know,
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure if he gets it, they have a schedule worked out where he'll make enough appearances where it's not like this dude's gonna be going for weeks.
you know. I'm looking at the card, yo. That's a pretty good card. I'm gonna just run through it. I won't give
Oh
like
no,
predictions for
nah,
everything.
they did.
But like, I'm looking at it in total. I'm like basically almost, son. Every match has a story.
Hmm.
The least story is probably Sami Zayn and JD McDonough.
Yeah, but that's a pre-show match, so
Okay, so then whatever. And then
yeah.
you got John Cena and Solo. They've been subliminally at each other. Cody Rhodes and Damian Priest.
Hmm.
Mysterio and Logan Paul. Then you got the Rhea Ripley match with all the women. I think that's
Yeah,
gonna be a clobber fest. That'll be fun. Io and Bianca, Seth and Drew, and Drew got a legit gripe.
yeah.
and
I,
LA Knight and Roman. That's gonna be fun, man. And there's always the possibility that Damian Priest will cash in.
yeah, that's true.
We
That's
don't know
true.
if they pull the trigger on that at this show or what, but that'd be
And then
fun.
I don't know if they'll I think Kyrie Sane's supposed to be coming back, but I think they'll save that for further down the line because
She was
I think
the
she
pirate.
finished off. Yeah, she was a pirate, but
Okay,
she's an amazing wrestler,
and she's dope.
amazing wrestler. But I think the issue was she was the one who kept getting hurt by Nia Jax. Like
Mm.
Nia Jax gave her a couple like concussions and stuff, and so she was going back to Japan. Boom, boom. She was like people didn't think she was coming back to WWE, but now that her contract in Japan is up, the rumblings are she has quietly re-signed and will probably be making a return before the end of the year. So we'll
Okay.
see how that goes because I'm sure because that was a Triple H hire when she first came in, so I'm sure it's going to be a thing where she's slotted near, if not at the top of the card in the women's division. It's pretty top heavy. You still got Asuka. You know, Bianca just came back, as we said.
How the tag
One
matches?
interesting thing is how Bailey is not really Like she's a gatekeeper of the division, but she's not really like as a former horsewoman, she's not always presented in the same status as Becky and Charlotte, if that
I
makes
think
sense.
partially, I think that's a damage control thing.
Yeah.
I don't think that vehicle is made to promote her. It's made to promote the other two
Mhm.
ladies.
Yeah.
Um,
But Dakota keep getting
and I think
hurt.
and that's not lost on us either. Like, I
Mhm.
think the second that damage control is over, she could lean right back into that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she's done. She was the first to do a couple things her own in her own right.
Yeah. Because she was doing, she had the role model gimmick before this,
Mm-hmm,
right?
mm-hmm.
Always beefing with Michael Cole. The beef with Michael Cole will never end. But
Yeah, she is. Yeah, so I mean, she has one of the more dynamic characters. So like,
yeah.
even though she might not have all the matches, she got them. She got matches. She might not have the stretch of matches the way like a Becky does. Like
Hmm.
A lot of Becky's character and stuff is like very in ring, like
Yeah.
put on these
Yeah.
things. Charlotte is almost similar to that.
Hmm.
I think I think Bailey got more depth to her character and how she got to this point as a
Yeah.
character.
Yeah. That's
You know what
true.
I mean?
That's
And
true.
they're not put Becky like right under that. I think Charlotte is the most I want to call her bland. I'm not bored by her, but she's very straightforward. You know what you're getting because of who she is and her lineage. Like
Yeah.
you know what this is. But everyone else's characters had to be a little bit more fleshed out, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And Bailey's had the opportunity to have a stable and stuff like that, and just to have different things to pull from. So I think we don't see her in that light right now because she's had none of them other women had stables really, you know.
Yeah. That's true.
Um,
That's true.
and so she's leading these other two women. So I mean, yeah, I think once damage control is over, and I think that's on its way,
Hmm.
you'll see her step into to more of that space. And I think it behooves her character to start owning that. You kind of saw a little bit of it when Io was feuding, I think, with Charlotte and Becky. I'm sorry, and Bailey would like interfere. And
Yeah.
like there was these
Yeah.
face offs with Charlotte. It's like, don't forget what we used to like, you know what time it is. Like, you know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
think they're
Like,
gonna start to run that back at some point.
oh, so because Bailey's still doing her thing. Um,
I love seeing it. She came out on Raw one of them days, come here a week or two ago. She had her legs was like, out. I was like, Bailey, come
oh
on
man,
now.
she be having the internet going nuts.
Bales,
She be having the internet going nuts.
Bales. Because we done seen the Bunky from NXT. I done seen it. But, you know, she's maturing.
Yeah,
Hell,
shit. It's like when Tony Storm came out on Collision.
cheeks,
Listen,
cheeks.
and she got on the announce table.
She started putting the lipstick on or whatever.
Oh man, she pulled the orange. She pulled the two little tangerines out the back of her shorts.
She slipped it.
Toast one to Tony Schiavone. Hilarious that she's eating an orange like an apple, not peeling it. She's just biting into it and biting a
She's
chunk out of the
hilarious.
skin and everything.
She's
But
hilarious, yo.
yeah, I don't know if you've seen like the stills. So there's this one angle where there's a dude in the audience with his camera out just fucking
Yes.
recording, like zooming in. And then
That
there's the
sounds
picture of
horrible.
Nigel
I'm like, yes.
McGuinness. Yeah, you see the one with Nigel McGuinness, just like laid back, enjoying the view.
That's right.
I was like, yo, I ain't mad at it. Shit,
Ay, ay, ay. Tony Storm.
Tony Storm's a beautiful woman. Like
Man,
she's a beautiful woman.
we gotta
You
like have a
know,
segment called "Just Forgive Me, Dr. Umar," because
yeah. And then
I
hashtag
see yo one of
respectfully.
these pictures. People are wild. One of these pictures is from like the crowd. Yeah, we did.
You seen it. Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Exactly.
these AEW people, you guys are hilarious, bro.
Listen, and it's
Oh
I mean,
my
be
god.
careful. She's her husband is Juice Robinson, unless you want to roll quarters to the jaw, you need to be careful. You need to be
Oh,
careful.
that's Bang Bang Gang.
Yeah, yeah.
That's her husband. Damn, I like
Yeah,
him.
man. Yeah. And it's like, yo, and two, I wonder if they definitely the type to like work on each other's characters with each other. Like, how over the
Nah,
top
man,
can
he's
we make this
cool, man.
youth?
And
Yeah.
and not for nothing. The Bullet Club Gold shit is I don't know. The Billy Gunn sons They figured something. They got something,
Yeah,
man.
they found this
You
they
know,
needed
like,
this. This was good for them. This was good for them.
oh, I'm happy for
This
them.
was
Like,
good for
and
them.
I think I was listening to this other show called the Extra Cooler Show. They were doing a review or like a watch along of SummerSlam, sorry, Survivor Series '93, which is one of my
Mhm.
favorites because that's Bastion Booger's in that shit. Bastion Booger's one of the most worst infamous WWE characters. But they were talking
Bastion
about
Booger. Oh
they were
man.
talking about a dart match on that show in '93, and Billy Gunn was wrestling somebody in that dart match. And I'm like, yo, but I really been watching Billy Gunn since that time. Since he had a mustache, he was a smoking gun.
Listen.
So to see his
Hell
sons
yeah.
there and to see him look exactly how I remember him in 1998.
Hmm.
Wow, it's I will always be amazed by that. But I'm happy for his sons, man. They got something there. And then the other dude on the side that be spitting the water out, I forget his name, but they all cool, man.
Oh, it's it's the guns. Colton is the one who does the dance. I think Colton's the taller one. Colton's
Then you
like
got
the
the
taller, lankier one. Yeah. And Austin's the shorter, stocky one, who's always like,
and then there's one that be standing at the back of the four of them. I don't that's the guy named who I forget. His hair be kind of down.
that's Juice Robinson.
Oh, that's Juice. So who's the
That's
dude that is in the front that's from Australia or whatever?
that's Jay White, the leader.
Jay White. I knew it was
J-
a J word.
Yeah,
Okay, so
yeah, yeah.
Juice is the dude in the back. He's like the wild dude.
Yeah,
Okay,
he's
that's
a
it.
wild
I
dude.
fuck with
Yeah,
him, Juice.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Jay White is the leader, Bullet Club.
Look, man, he chose well. All right, he
Yeah,
chose
he did.
well,
He did.
and I say that. I mean, obviously, there's the physical aspect, but you got to have a personality to pull that character off. So that means she's a fun
Yes.
chick, man. She got to be a fun
Yes.
chick. So salute to them, unless they're Republican. But salute to them.
She's let me
If they
see.
Republican, forget anything I said, and
Yeah.
forgive me, Dr. Umar.
But yeah,
Yeah,
man, she's killing it. I think that's about it. I don't really.
yeah, I'm good. I think we got through it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
look forward to the show this weekend, and
Hmm.
maybe I might check out those wrestling girls' fifth anniversary
Who?
party vibe. You know, they that's a podcast these ladies
Oh,
do.
oh, 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 okay.
They're having a
I thought
fifth
it was.
anniversary. Guess a recording. I think they're doing a recording on Nostrand. So I'm like, yeah, it's
Oh,
on
okay.
Nostrand.
Oh, in the
Might,
streets. All right.
might pop out. Might pop out. I'll know when I
Let me
wake up.
get.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
We'll see,
See,
man. But
I don't know what's going on with Collision. I don't think the card for Collision's been announced. I think there's just one match, like a 10-man tag match.
yeah,
With some like Mogul Embassy and Ricky Starks and Big Bill versus FTR and LFI. Los Faction Ingo. I'm not gonna pronounce that last word correctly. So, but yeah, maybe I'll be home. I won't be home tonight for
okay. Big
any.
time back in now, no doubt.
Yeah. But tomorrow night, yeah, I'll probably be home tomorrow night, especially if it's cold. I ain't really trying to be out in the streets because we went from summer to winter.
You ain't
We
never
had like
lied.
we had like 3 weeks of late fall, and that's about it. But yeah, it's cold in New York right now.
I think it was like in the 80s last Saturday. I went out to Urban Plaza and
Hmm.
I was coming home and I didn't wear a jacket to the spot because I parked a few blocks away, but I'm like, it was like 65 degrees outside. So I was like, yeah, that's be
Yeah.
all right. And I felt good. I had some liquor in me. So I felt good. So I walked to the car and I was fine. But by the next morning, my throat scratching. I was like, oh God, I can never
Yeah.
act cool. I can never just be I have to remember I'm black, yo. I can't move like everybody else, man. I
Nah,
gotta
man.
fucking, it's really annoying. I didn't get a cold from it. Like, thankfully, by like Tuesday, Wednesday, I was normal.
Yeah.
But it had to been like a skosh cold. I probably would have been done for. Yeah, I thought that was hilarious, man. But
Nah,
that's
I
all
got
for
the
me,
day
man.
pill and everything all that on deck. Yes, sir. It's been real. We'll be back next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Word
It's
up.
the best of both worlds of wrestling podcast, and we bid you Adieu.
Yeah, man. Y'all be good.
Be easy.